Not all good habits are actually good for you. And it's taken me quite a long time to realize that. You know, those habits that they say will make you reach your full potential and make you feel powerful and confident in yourself. Those habits haven't actually worked for me. So the first habit on my list is waking up early. You know the saying, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I learned that as a kid, right? And it made me really feel useless or less productive when I didn't wake up early. I love my sleep. And I've always known pretty young that I was not a morning person. I've always known this because I just couldn't function well in the morning. Even when I was at university, I had to study at night. I couldn't study in the morning. I studied all night and I slept most of the morning and I was fine. But because it was drilled into my head as a kid, not just by my parents, by everybody around me, that you had to wake up early because then you could get lots of things done. And then you had the rest of the day to yourself and you could get even more things done. So I always felt guilty during my school days. But you know, when you're young and you don't have much responsibilities apart from just going to school and getting good grades, you don't think about such things much. But once I started working and I had to wake up early anyway to go to work, it became part of me. From reading lots of books and watching videos, I became even more guilty that I wasn't waking up way earlier to get some exercise done before going to work or to just, I don't know, do something productive with my time in the mornings. So I started waking up about 2 hours earlier than I would normally wake up and hope that I was going to have a wonderful day. What I quickly found out was that getting any exercise done in the morning made me feel actually weaker. So I tried it on a full stomach, I tried it on a semi full stomach, I tried it on an empty stomach, I tried it on a day when I had gone to bed much earlier, I tried on different occasions, but I always felt sick to the stomach. Like I felt like I was going to throw up anytime I tried to get any exercise done in the mornings. And so instead of getting exercise done in the morning, I would then try to read a book, but I just couldn't concentrate because I know I'm not a morning person. I've always known that. I tried really hard, but I was not the productive person that I thought I would be. And so I just had to give that habit up. So what I do instead is that I get things done at night because that's when I'm at my most awake, to be honest. After work, I would go to the gym. And it always made me feel much more energized after a perhaps stressful day at work. I'd feel much stronger. And for some reason, I just had the energy to actually work out and I could work out properly, you know, not just go work out just because I have to. But I was actually enjoying going to the gym. So I would go to the gym after work and get back home and I would lay everything out that I needed for the next morning so that the next morning I had time to sleep in and enjoy my morning in silence and peace because I don't want to talk to anybody when I wake up in the mornings. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to have any conversations. My brain's just like mushy and full of cotton and just wants to relax in the mornings. And that's how I found that I have been able to be more productive because we all have 24 hours in a day. And I don't think that waking up earlier and going to bed earlier is going to make much of a difference depending on who you are. I know myself, I know how my body works. I know my circadian, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, circadian circle. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I know how to have a restful night's sleep because that's what's paramount, that you get enough sleep and it's very restful. So just following a habit that everyone claims the richest and the famous and the most powerful people, which by the way is not 100% confirmed, that everyone claims that such people follow those habits and those routines doesn't necessarily put you automatically on the same wavelength as those people. Now, it might work for some people. Some people are early birds. Some people thrive early in the mornings at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. And that's all well and good for them. But I don't. I know myself. And I wasted years, which actually I was quite drained and miserable, aka burnt out, and I didn't even know it. It wasn't until I changed my routine that I started feeling more relaxed and even happier at my job. The next good habit that I gave up and I wish I had much earlier is always look your best. I don't know if I look my best today, and I really, really don't care. I just care that I look decent and I'm wearing something that I actually like and I enjoy. I like this top. I really love how it shows off my shoulders. Oh, I have a scratch over here. I used to be one of those women who couldn't and wouldn't leave the house if I wasn't dressed enough to get compliments from people. Like I craved that compliment, like, you look good today. I wanted to hear that from at least several people a day. But the older that I got, I started to come to terms with the fact that if I didn't like myself the way I was, if I didn't like my face as it is, if I didn't like my body or the shape of my nose or the shape of my head, then nobody else would, right? If I was always putting my best foot forward, then I would always be moving farther away from actually showing who I actually was. And staying true to myself was much more important to me than a facade. And so I gently, slowly started letting go of that idea. Nowadays, I just wear very minimal makeup. I dress simply most of the time, but still fashionably. I still love fashion. Don't get me wrong, I love fashion, but I'm not going to join the hamster wheel of consumption fashion, of FOMO, where, you have to wear everything that is trending at the moment. I just go for pieces that I actually really love and I know that I will wear for a very long time. And I go for things that bring me joy, put a smile on my face, and I don't have to break the bank to do that. Meanwhile, I also know now that most people don't care anyway. They might compliment you, they might not compliment you, they might think that you're wearing something amazing, they might not, they might think you look your best, they might think you don't, but it doesn't actually matter because they don't really truly care. It's just something for them to talk about, it's just something for them to notice and to make comments, pass comments on. It's just superficial, it doesn't say who I really am, that today I'm looking my best or I'm looking my worst or I don't look all put together all of the time. That's okay. I don't have to look put together all the time. Maybe I'm having a bad day and it shows, and that is absolutely fine. So I've let go of that having to look perfect every single day, and some days I don't even wear any makeup and I just go out and I don't think about it, and I have a nice day. It's something that is sold to us and it sticks in our head because life and humans are all about appearances. And that is very obvious. And it's a truth that we have to accept. I mean, I do look at people who are attractive and I do make comments on people's clothing and everything. I have a taste and I know that other people have tastes that might not gel with mine. And that's what makes us all unique and interesting, right? Next, I want to talk about avoiding certain types of foods, especially meat and sugar. I was so obsessed with being skinny in my 20s. Now that I say it out loud, I'm a little bit ashamed of that. But it was like, if you weren't skinny, you weren't beautiful. This is despite the fact that I grew up in a community where having a bit of flesh, and curves was actually considered beautiful. But my exposure to the world was mostly from books and movies because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. And so my idea of beauty was just being skinny. I wanted to be skinny. I wanted to be a model. And I was obsessed with that. And so I would gobble up any information about how to stay and remain skinny. And in addition to that, I was also into diet fads. And so when the whole avoid meat kind of diet came up, I was just like, yes, I'm not going to eat red meat anymore. Sugar was because I wanted to remain skinny. I didn't have sugar. I think almost no sugar, except if I did. I wasn't aware that there was sugar in what I was eating. And I also avoided anything that was fatty, because, I just had to be skinny. I was so sickly. I used to have lots of dizzy spells. I didn't have strength. Whenever I would try to work out, I couldn't build up muscles and I was always like shaky. I wasn't strong. I wasn't a strong person. And then in my 30s, I found out that I had uterine fibroids, and this was contributing to keeping me underweight. And I went through some tests and blood tests, and my blood came back really out of balance, out of whack. I saw different doctors, I had different tests, and each time I would always get the question, are you a vegetarian or are you vegan? I'm like, no, not really, because I still ate fish. I would say, no, I'm not a vegan, I'm not vegetarian, and say, but your protein levels are so low, your red blood cells are so low, you have to eat meat. Like, no, no, no. And I try to check up how to get my proteins from vegetables and fruits. It took me a long time. I was a bit stubborn about it. Okay, more than a bit stubborn. I was quite stubborn about it. But then as my fibroid increased, my weakness also increased. And then I knew that something just had to change. So I was put on iron medication. I decided to take the doctor's advice and I reintroduced meat into my diet. Now, sugar was because also my blood sugar levels were quite low, and slowly my health and my strength started picking up. So now I'm stronger. Now I can go to the gym. Now I don't worry so much anymore about being skinny. I still like to keep my weight in the right range. And I also have been building a little bit of muscles, not much. I'm not very strong, but I'm stronger than I used to be in my 20s. Can you believe that? I'm 41 now and I'm stronger than I used to be in my 20s. But that's because now my body is able to actually build muscles because I have the right diet. So not all diets are good for everyone. You have to know what your body needs, what your body requires before you take up any diet fad. Go check if you cut out any kinds of food, how that would affect you, affect your body. You have to listen to your body. It's very, very important. So I learned to actually listen to my body and what my body wants and needs rather than just following a habit because someone that I admire follows it or because it's going to give me the ideal body that has been advertised. So do you have any of these good habits and are you following them? Do they work for you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. Until the next video, my name is Isabella. Ciao, ciao.